A huge shout out to the overthinkers. An overthinker, he watches the show.
To the overthinkers, shout out to Vert too.
Keep inspiring the next generation.
Shout out to the overthinkers. Tando, Tela, much love.
To my overthinkers, Mamelo, top ngeke biyakhula ngenizi njani ikhokho yazini as overthink siya overachieve yazini as overthink.
I'm stealing that. I've stolen that one. I've stolen that one.
As overthinking. Siya overachiever. Welcome everybody to the Overthinking Football Show. My name is Mokwena. I am your host, and this show is the place where we get to show love to South African football, African football, and every now and then, once in a blue moon, we go overseas and look at what Europe is happening. It's a place where we can speak together, where we can have conversations together, and we can hear from each other. You're not going to hear former players here and former coaches and about Thomas and all of those people. This show is composed purely of you guys speaking to me about what has happened over the past weekend or whatever topic it is that we are covering. So to join the show, if you're watching on YouTube, you have to come on over. To TikTok, follow me, and then at the bottom of your screen, there's a button that says multi-guest. Click on that button. I let you in. We have a conversation and we have some fun. You can tell me how you're thinking about whatever it is we're speaking about, guys. There is a WhatsApp group. If you want to join the official Overthinking Football WhatsApp group, you have to go over to YouTube, click on subscribe, click on join. In the members area is the link to the WhatsApp group. Incredible place. That is where even if you send a message at 2 a.m., somebody is going to answer you. Nomi akhala man ngo 2 ekseni man. Khona umuntu ozokuanswera. But welcome. All I ask, guys, is kupari gifty, Shaba, thanks for the follow. Kupari gifty, and then kopa 60,000 likes. Let's tap the screen and make it to 60,000. It is free. Tap, and we go from there. Okay, so today it's a Monday review show. Today is the show where we're going to go through what happened over the weekend with the big three, and then we're going to discuss how we felt about those games. Of course, I'm going to start us off with Kaizer Chiefs, who drew 2-2 with Royal AM. You have Sundowns, who won 3-0 versus Kukune. And you have Pirates, who lost 1-0 to Stellenbosch. As it stands, Mamelodi Sundowns is currently number 1. 8 games played, 7 wins, no draws, 1 loss, 18 goals, 4 goals against for 21 points. Pirates draw on points, also with a similar record, 8-7-0-1, 13 goals scored, 3 against, and then Kaizer Chiefs, 7th place, 7 games played, 3 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses, 12 goals for, 10 goals conceded, for a grand total of 11 points. And that is where we're going to start. Kaizer Chiefs played Royal AM to a 2-2 draw. The stats looked as follows: 17 shots from Kaizer Chiefs, 9 on target. Royal AM had 12 shots in total, 4 on target. Chiefs has 62% of the possession versus Royal AM's 38. They had completed 531 passes for a grand total of 531 passes, whereas Royal AM had 328. And then, of course, Dupreez and Duba scored in the 5th and 13th minute, but Umantwele and Umashiani then came back to make it 2-2 in the 31st and 89th minute. So, guys, feel free to request, bottom of your screen, multi-guest button, jump in. Let's have a conversation about this. Let's go Peter. I know it's been lit. I know it's been crazy. Let's go Peter. Jump in. Let's have a conversation. Okay, so I'll start it off since my Chiefs people are shy. Okay, so Kaizer Chiefs played, of course, with a 2-2 draw with Royal AM. It was a game of 2 halves because Kaizer Chiefs went back to that Chiefs that we saw in the beginning of the season, where they had a good 20-25 minutes to start off the game and then couldn't finish off. I told you guys last week, I gave you guys the warning to say that when you start defending too deep and you take away your threat, then it gives the other team a chance to come out and try take advantage of you. Richards Bay wasn't able to take advantage of the Kaizer Chiefs in the game that they played, even though they had chances late on. But Royal AM was able to do it and really put our defense into some trouble. Now, I'll say it once. I've said it once. I'll say it 100 times. You can defend. You can beat defensive. There's nothing wrong with you going, you know what, we're 2-0 up. Let's sit back and try control this game. No problem with that. But you have to keep the other team thinking of what you might do to them if you were to counter. So taking off Sereno, taking off Mart, taking off Dupreez, for me, took away a little bit of that danger that maybe could have gifted you more goals. Now, to be fair to Kaizer Chiefs, they had plenty of chances to try to take that game away from any type of draw result or any type of loss result. But they couldn't take their chances in the first half. And we know what the football gods say. If you don't take your chances in the first half, you don't take the chances that are given to you, they will be taken away from you later on and you will lose. Let me go to Ongama. Ongama, welcome to the show. How are you? Ongama, are you with me?
Just wait a bit, OT.
Yeah, but
Just wait
okay.
a bit. I'm still fixing my Wi-Fi.
Okay, okay. I'm going to go to Bongs then. Bongs, welcome to the show. How are you? Bongs? Hey, but now, what's happening? Prasam?
Yes, wena ke bona.
Oh, right, raw Taiwan and then the Wi-Fi is America. Vodacom sequence. Hi, but Prasam, welcome. Didn't say Prasam.
How are you, my brother? What's up?
Naki munati man Prasam, naki munati at least 1 point itswile. Ke a tseba hore le Pirate mara ke kopa o botsa hore we bone jwang game ya Chiefs 2-2 Royal AM.
No, the game was very entertaining, to be honest. I enjoyed the game at Chiefs for the very first time in a long time.
Yeah, man.
Where it was all Chiefs, like Chiefs left and right, Chiefs left and right. Good game. But then I think I know why. Because Royal Andy and Peace need like 9 players. No, so that's why Chiefs was dominating because never shot. But then otherwise, second half, well, AM, Yan Chamutro, Bashutishang, and then I know we saw 11v11, Zakan.
Can I ask you, is there a case where Chiefs Ilya improve these past few games, or is it when you look at the Royal AM, Kimo, Nebakense Chemene Koko Center, maybe Nasio in the game, and then versus Richards Bay didn't show up until later on? Is there a case where he improve, or is it the people who were playing that made us look good?
No, it's not the case of Chiefs improving. It's the case of Royal AM not being good enough. Because at first I thought, no, this one is just a 3 points for Chiefs. Until they came and make some play, no, on the second half. So I never thought they would score 2. Maybe 1, but 2, no, I never thought they would score 2. That says a lot about backline Chiefs. When I look at one, I was like, what's going on? Because now when you look at that back 4, we have Cross. Cross, I'm not sure if again. I'm not sure why you signed that guy, but then now we have Solomon.
What?
Solomon is promising, and then we have Musimango. And that guy totally. I was like, I know. Something need to be fixed to move.
Mara Prasam, is it what is the problem? Kaubane Rimsereba Chinchaman, Cross, Tanti, Tove, Mashiane, Kamohari, Ki Totli, Ki Migueli, Ki Simangoli Totli, Ki Simangoli Tokwe, Nobo, Kemang Austin Tube, Kamorai, Tiki Frost, like Solomon's Kikwinika. Killing Richinta Chinchavatu. What's wrong? Kaka Backline Chiefs, man.
No. King was the best player. And then Musimango was the best player. Go Galaxy. So I no man. And you're right. I never thought of it like that. I think the problem is the team play more. Not the players, because now it doesn't matter who you play, because they don't look scared, even though like they don't look scared. Looking at them like Monga Fetam. Even Maduka was like, no guys, we can do something, and Vele did something out of nowhere. So I just think it's the team itself, not the players, because
Can we give credit for Maduka Kaubani? Royal AM, even through all of the problems they've had, but Dalapolo man, even against Sundowns, they tried to come back at the last minute, just missing out. Oh, can we give credit to John Maduka for this season? So far,
definitely, because looking at that team, I equal like serious. But then he's trying with those few guys that he has, because he has only like a few good players. And there's that Maxwell short guy. Where did they get him from? Because I thought they're not signing players. Which guy is that Maxwell guy?
Oh, that's the thing.
I'm saving. I was like, which one is this one? Maybe from GDC because that guy is too young.
Yeah.
But then let's give coach the credit because he's trying him with the little resources that he have and he's pushing. Because if it was another one, give a little number last, But you can see that they are pushing like 11 points, 10 points out of 8 games or something. Of which they won't be relegated until they get fined. Maybe they will get point deducted. That's where they'll be. But if they don't take points, they won't be relegated. Because they're fighting.
Okay, guys, we're going to go into Pirates after this. The next panel will be a Pirates panel. But I want to bring in Hansel. Concierge, welcome. How are you?
Senguyile uthi.
Ngiyeza ngizarounda ngizagcina ngawe. Concierge Hansel, how are you?
Okay.
Good Mr. Oti, kunjani lapho bafa?
Man, mina ngimnandi. 2-2. How did you feel about this game?
Mr. Oti, this game was a game of consequence for Kaizer Chiefs, right? Because they started the game very well. They were dominating. When they started to score, after they scored those 2 goals, they started trying to bring back the status of the glamour boys. They were trying to be glamorous unnecessarily so, where I think they could have capitalized and scored more goals, and then in the second half at least be glamorous when you've buried the game with 4 or 5 goals, right? And also, I think there are certain. I think the way the structure of Chiefs is structured, I think it also needs a system that will, when they introduce a starting 11, it must be a starting 11 that hides individual players, maybe weaknesses, so to say, because when there are certain players when they're in the starting 11, Chiefs tends to suffer in certain positions, especially the center backs and then the left wing, because Cross is not that fast and he's not much of a ball player, and also I think the position of the CDM and Matt, Mteto and Matt sometimes needs to stop being too forward whenever they're being attacked. His positioning off the ball, I think he needs to work a little bit on it. But all in all, it was a game of consequence, a game of 2 halves. I'm proud that Chiefs got at least 1 point. Yeah, all in all, I was content. It was a game of football. It was interesting to watch. I was happy.
Can I ask you, should alarm bells be ringing, man? Should alarm be ringing that case the Chiefs? Because, man, over and over again. Cross, when Serino's on the pitch, Cross is too high. It leaves the center backs exposed. We've spoken about the CDMs, I don't know how many times. Should we be worried that, man, now, I think we've conceded, for the first time we've conceded this many goals in the PSL era, I believe it was. Going in now, we've conceded in every single game. We always make defensive mistakes, similar to defensive mistakes we've been making in previous years. Should alarm bells be ringing? How do you fix this thing?
I think, like I was saying before, whenever there is a starting lineup, at least it must be one that each and every player that is there must cover another player's weakness. In a sense, the reason why some of the players are exposed is because they have weaknesses that even the opponents have noticed, and they capitalize on those, on such weaknesses. And I think because Chiefs just got a new coach, they are still building. I don't necessarily think there should be alarms or there should be room for panic. As long as they are not losing that much, there is room for improvement. Each and every you can learn new things in each and every game. If you see the goals that are being scored, they are not scored the same way. Where you can say no, there's one problem that maybe it's aerial or it's whatever, but you can say no, it's different dimensions of the games where the goals are coming in from. So it means there are things that you can work around from, or maybe at least profile the team that you're going to play and see how they score and prepare, looking at how the team plays and how the team attacks.
Can I ask you then, let's go to the last 30 minutes of that game. Is it maybe, should there be a time where Chief Ziman puts away pride and says, you know what, if we're defending, how to defend about by 80, defending strong, Or is Coach Nabi still trying to be fancy towards the end of game still? Leon, Hachinja.
I think the biggest problem Kanabi that I've seen, I don't know if it's a problem or maybe it's because of the players that he have in the bench. It's like he doesn't read the game well when looking at the substitutions, only when judging from the substitutions that he makes. Because if you check this game and the previous game, the substitutions that he made, he removed players that had venom, right? And put in players that are dull. They are flat-footed. They are not giving you anything in attack. And then they can't hold the ball. They can't combine 3 or 4 passes. Those players, when they come in, they become liabilities. When you give them the ball, they lose the ball. The team takes the ball and then start attacking you. And defensively, they are not going to offer you anything. So I think also he needs to work on substitution on the bench and at least have 2 or 3 impact players. A player that when it comes in, whether you're losing or leading, he gives the opposition a tough time that they must defend. Because if you check, Royal AM was playing a high line. The defense of Royal AM was playing a high line that you say, oh no, if they're playing a high line, you need a speedy player. You need a player that is going to be in the middle of the park. That is going to pass those defense splitting passes and have a runner to go and score. Even if they miss, but at least you create a sense of danger. No, this team must not play a high line because there is that sense of danger. Yeah.
Okay. No, thank you, Hansa. Let me go to Ubongs. Bongs, welcome to the show. Sukran.
Sharp OT, I'm okay.
Bongs, we wanted one game, 2-2, Kaizer Chiefs Raleigh AM.
It was a game of 2 halves. I feel like Coach Lena Kiana Are I the mistake got the 3 changes that yente. Because untite players that were impacting the game and giving us something to cry about or no. But now Hana Katao Chincha Kaka second half, it gave Royal AM an opportunity or no, they can come at us now and play the ball.
So then, Kastakona, nobody maybe I had saying in the second half. What changes would maybe you have wanted to see, and how should we have played that second half? Kabani Royal AM featured sharper early.
Even if I did say when we must just try and rulani this game, play maybe chameleon football, 1,000 passes, try to frustrate the opponent.
Maruka 1,000 passes kabo mang. Ko Chiefs.
Chiefs lona haina moteling a leader for bona no. Abadweto for do this, do that, because everyone is all over the place. Hana moto ankang lead aren. Let me take control. No. When I am do this, when I appeal, stay there in the box. Try and mark who and who.
So then, Kupabota then, are you worried, Coach Nabi? Kawanikimo Chiefs, yeah, consider a lot of goals that they consider now. The defense looks shaky, manaba pressure. Should we be worried for Coach Nabi? Do you think that he can turn this around? Will he have time?
Yeah, he still has time because January Yatla Leona. Maybe Utakhona create someone who can become a leader. Haka Lusheva in the transfer market.
Let's go in such a little thing.
I would say because these teams the chairman diabalea, the phone diaqualwa. We can't even get players to the batlang. So it's a problem, Kakaruna, because Junior Yana was a mahunta. Uzamon Tachelete Aguare, Kamawasuku, Wasukula Lena, Patinya, Olegova Palapatia Lena as Patia Kaizer Chiefs.
I think that's why January is not an easy time to get players, Pella. If Prebata star leader quality, that means or a team Erem Rekankote Leonite must be fine with losing that star leader quality. I don't think there's many teams, man. Abato Dumel.
It will be difficult, Mare. Let's work with what we got. Let's just work with what we got.
When we're looking at what we got, what's the starting lineup that you trust? If you could set a starting lineup now.
Starting lineup, there's another problem because the 2 center backs, Donna Diazama, but Inacho ke motho a kirang di-red card a lot. O kira le di-yellow most of the games. So ha re na le keeper, re hloka le keeper actually, re hloka le keeper. Ha re na goalkeeper e solid.
Le tlo ba chincha until when? Ke neng le ba chincha di-defender le di-goalkeeper phela. Re bone Vuma, ke Peterson, ke Ontwari Sakene, ning ne le Akpei. Ila ba chincha defending. There's all of the defenders we've seen. Since king problem ya ko Chiefs.
Problem ya Chiefs e one fela. Ha ona leader in the Kaizer Chiefs team. Re hloka a leader, someone who can lead the team in every game re bapalang.
Okay. Yeah.
Cause Martin yena ha bapale party as a captain aba blele hore no. Let's tighten up the defense and try and not concede goals. There's still a lot of work to be done at Kaizer Chiefs.
Do you trust Nabi to do it for the last few seconds?
Now I believe in Nabi.
Okay. Bongs, let me let in Khosi. Khosi, welcome to the show. How are you? Khosi, are you with me? Okay, we'll come back to Khosi. Let me go back to Ongama. Ongama, welcome to the show. It's all right.
I'm good, OT, unjani Vert?
Mina ngimnandi. Strowile abanye next door badliwe but asikho lapho Ongama. Uyibone njani le game Chiefs? 2-2.
I'll firstly start with the game plan. Our coach had a game plan, and our game plan was executed the right way in the first half, but the exit of Solomons distracted our game plan. Firstly, our game plan was to make sure that we push Solomons at the numbers to go forward. Asinikeze i-width, bese kube nguye no-Bradley Cross basinikeze i-width, then lento kube ngathi baya-inverta kancane i-wingers zethu zi-inverte, then abantu abazosicontrolela i-midfielder then izoba ngulentoka ngumarti ngumarti. Okay, it's Yusuf Marti, kube ngumthetho, kube uDupreez ebedropa noDupreez angene ngaphakathi kube sekube ngumduduzi Shabalala. Then our game plan was to make sure that we stretch the field as much as possible, to make sure that we don't stick into the midfield, that we have numerical advantage in every position, and make sure that we try to make sure the baller is going wild, and make sure that Solomons is dribbling, and making sure that he makes the cutbacks or makes the cross if it's possible. So when you see that type of a style of play, when Sereno come inside, when they receive the ball, they make sure that they use Solomons, that cross, make sure that they use Solomons. They try to make sure if the ball is that side, they use cross on this side. So our game plan was executed the right way in the first 15-20 minutes. But the exit of Solomons distracted a little bit of our game plan because Blom lost the energy in recovery, in terms of going back, in terms of the recovery, leg recovery. Then the coach tried to make sure that he invert Blom to come into the midfielder. So when we changed the system in the second half, it distracted the planning that we tried to make across the week. It distracted that planning that we did across the week. We tried to absorb the pressure into the midfielder. Then there was no longer a space enough to make sure that the ball is moving wild enough, is moving sideways enough. So when Royal AM pressing us much hard into the midfielder, we were losing the ball because we knew when we planned in the week that if we make sure that the game of Royal AM, we stretch the field, we come in the midfielder with the patches, we don't come as much into the midfielder, we come in patches into the midfielder, then when we absorb the pressure into the midfielder in second half, trying to make sure that we reserve the energy of Blom, that's where we lost the ball as much as possible. If you remember, the first 10 minutes we considered a goal in first half because we lost the ball as much as possible in the center. We have a lot of numbers. We didn't move as much as quick the ball into the midfielder. We didn't use much diagonal balls into the midfielder. Then, so that's one of the things that I see that has happened into that game. We lost the game plan that was addressed into the week. That was executed in first 15 minutes. It was executed and that game plan was working. But the injury of Solomon's distracted everything into that game. So that's one thing that I observed. Then the other thing, the way that we defended into that game, it was the slightly mistakes of the defenders trying to make sure that you close the space in situations whereby you should drop and defend and make sure that the people that you are defending with, they are recovering. So that's one of the things that I observed in that game. The first goal, it was Dotley, was not dropping and defend and making sure that he absorb the space and make sure that Cross is coming closer and make sure that the central midfielders are coming closer and make sure that they cover the space before he attacks the player. He attacks the player, the space is not enough. When Nsimango is trying to close that space, we concede the goal. The same thing that happens, Nsimango is trying to attack the player whereby he is supposed to drop and defend. The Dotley try to recover, then the same mistake is happening. So the two centre back made crucial mistake that cost us the goal in that game. And coming into the substitution,
very quickly,
I would look at the three substitutions. Quickly, looking at the substitution that was done by the coach, our coach made 3 substitutions, which is Vilakazi, Chivaviro, and also Modi. I think the substitution of Modi was making sure that Modi is coming back in making sure that he helps Cross in terms of defending. Then the substitution of Chivaviro was making sure that we try to make a long ball, he recovers the long ball and make sure that he makes the team plays. If you get the ball, you'll be that reference and make sure that we hold the ball, you make sure that Umart and other players gets the chance. Then coming to Vilakazi, is that type of a player that
I have to jump in, Ogaba, for time, to let everybody get a fair chance. Let me see if Khosi is still with me. Khosi, are you with me now?
Yeah, no, I'm here. Sorry about that.
Khosi Nchayele, 2-2. How do you feel about game, man?
You know the problem with Kaizer Chiefs, né? It's not a coach anymore. It's not an issue of a coach anymore. Né? I think that the problem it's the players' mentality. We don't have players that are competitive, right? For example, right now, Ignatius Uzuilega red card, right? He's suspended. Given Msimango was supposed to come in, and when he comes in, he grabs that opportunity to give Miguel Barkin a competition, so that when he comes back, he struggles to come in, right? But that's not the thing, It's like the mistakes that we do, it's like those mistakes, like you don't understand what's going on. Like, it's terrible. So you can't blame the coach, because even in the first half, we were supposed to score like 3 to 4 goals, but we keep missing like your simple chances, including that chance that Bargi missed. I mean, like, how do you miss that opportunity? So I think the problem at Chiefs, it's players' mentality. They are not competitive, and also the players that we have, they are not quality.
Going forward, how do we fix this problem? Because we're not going to be able to spend a ton of money January. You know, how do you patch here? Because for me, we're seeing the same type of problems, the same type of defensive mistakes, the same type of defensive setup. What do we do to address this issue?
Yeah, my leader, that one is difficult because the management era the shortcut. Like, how did we end up buying Bongani Sem? Like, how do you explain that?
Yeah.
Right now, Bergman Cross is not like the best that we have. And then when you check the competition on the left back, like Bongani Sem is nowhere to be found. You don't know who's the second option when it comes to left back. Like, it's a mess.
So,
like I don't know.
okay, yeah.
No, I'm just saying, or I don't know at this point, or like management, what's their plan going forward? Are they still gonna go with doing shortcuts as they are doing, and then come back and tell us that the clubs don't wanna sell? Yeah, partly it's true. Some clubs don't wanna sell. We do see it, but we can't always make excuses, because they don't wanna like spend money. Yeah.
Okay, no, I wanted to ask you, should we be worried as Chiefs fans? Is it coming to a point where, hey, that happiness of Nebi coming in and the happiness of the players playing, is it now starting to fade away?
No, the thing is, it will depend on how we do January transfer, right? I'm not expecting like 7 to 8 quality players January transfer, right? But at least if you can get at least three or four, then I would say, yeah. Because right now, I don't want to say the problem is with Nabi. Because we could see now, like the football that we play, at least we are creating chances, right? If I'm not mistaken, Chiefs is now is top 3 when it comes to the chances created. So you could see that there's something there. Just that, the players that we have.
Okay.
Yeah. So he yeah.
No,
he
Jose.
needs baking.
No, Jose, thank you so much.
Thank you, my leader.
Guys, I'm going to go into Pirates now, but I just want to give my thoughts. If you're requesting, we're going into Pirates, the Pirates Stellenbosch game. So please make sure that if you're in the request line, you're coming in for Pirates. I'm giving you a chance now. Please tap the screen. Guys, tap the screen. Tap the screen. Please tap the screen. Let's try to get as high as possible. I'm looking for 60,000 likes and also Kupari gift. Okay, we're going into, before we go into Pirates, here's my thing about Kaizer Chiefs. My worry has now become that we're repeating the same patterns that we're seeing every single time. And I use it like this. The moment you see Serino in the starting lineup, you know that Kaizer Chiefs has 4 players committed to attack. It's going to be Serino, it's going to be Duba, it's going to be Shabalala, it's going to be Dupreez. And what happens is that Serino lines up on the left-hand side most of the time. So you already know that on the left-hand side, Cross is going to be alone. And what happens when Cross is alone is that he goes out and runs towards the danger, because what else is he going to do? He's being attacked on the side. He's alone. So he goes out to go and catch that danger early. But that means that other guys have to shift around him. And when you shift around him, the counter-attack doesn't give you enough chance to do that properly. So when Cross goes to intercept danger, that means that Utotli now has to be ready to take on the player that's running into that space. Or the CDM is meant to be taking that space, but they're often behind the player that's running in. So now you're seeing totally out of position. And when you pull our center backs wide, that's when they lose the ball. But what worries me is that we've seen a similar thing last season, seasons before. Msimango Nditokwe, same Shandis. Msimango gets dragged out of position because it's wide. If you think about the game we played versus, I think it was TS Galaxy, there was a counter-attack where Frosler had to jump, and then when he jumped, it created space in the back. Boom, there we go. I think it was a goal came from there, or at least a yellow card or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So my worry is that we're seeing the same patterns, and we're asking the same questions that we've been asking for a long time with a different set of players. I did note, centre back, we've seen Quinika, we've seen Dove play centre back, we've seen Ditokwe, we've seen Msimango, we've seen Cardoso, we've seen Kana Tawa. We on the left back, we've seen Santi, we've seen Dove, we've seen Mashiane. On the right back, we've seen Frosla, Quinika, Solomons. In the middle, we've seen Martin Mtetwa, Martin Zwane, Martin Castillo, and Zban. But We've changed them all around, but the fundamental problems still stay there. And that is what is worrying me about the Kaizer Chiefs, that we keep repeating cycles of the same thing and we're not fixing them, right? We're not fixing those things. In attack, we've made some changes. We look better in attack, but I don't think we cover ourselves enough. And I feel like that defense is trusted too much. The last thing I want to say before I bring in the Pirates fans, I want to give credit to Riley M. Because in as much as we're saying Chiefs had chances first half and did all of those things, there were changes made in the second half that made it a little bit harder for Kaizer Chiefs to play. And maybe if Riley M had started with that lineup from the beginning, who knows where this game goes. Because the moment they started putting pressure on and playing those balls and Abo Mantwele come in and make an instant change, then the game becomes harder. Something we saw versus Richards Bay, but luckily there, Richards Bay didn't have enough quality to take over. But then we saw it also when we saw it versus Sundowns. And Sundowns, defensively sound, attack, 4-0. So is it something that finally needs to be fixed? And how do you address it? There in the comments, please tell me how you address it. Okay, let me let in the next guys. It's 25 minutes. Fandenom, it's 25 minutes. I actually don't have the full time there. So it's 25 minutes. Everybody gets 25 minutes. I might open it up at the end just for everybody that wants to say a quick one or two things. I'm seeing people in the comments here. Okay, so we're moving into the Pirates game. Pirates, of course, played Stellenbosch FC. Stellenbosch beat Pirates 1-0. Pirates with 17 attempts, 4 on target. Stellenbosch with 8 attempts, 3 on target. But with only 30% of the ball versus Pirates' 70. Pirates completed 582 passes, and Stellenbosch completed 261 passes, and managed to score in the 33rd minute through Utaitas. I'm going to go straight into it. Venile mtakama.
Bafo.
Unjani?
Kubusuzwile.
Venile uthini ngegame yakho man?
Super. Awufale lapho ngane kama. Hawu siyabonga. No man. First of all ngicela ukudlulisela umlayezo nje kuphela. Kulabantu abawu69 abakhona la kuthi hayi bangaphatheki kabi bangabe inkulumo edlulile eKaizer Chiefs abayithulanga kahle naleza eSundowns ngeke bayithola hayi banga ku YouTube bajone nje kune WhatsApp group bazobathola bawinile banenge lapha yana bazobathola noma ngabe isiphi isikhathi bahlala bakhona
Bayasifihla man yimi kuphela yimi notiyo every day but it's fine
no hayi kubazifihla usukunenhlala uthi uza kayi1 ngeviki ngathi offer kayi1 a week sengiyamunderstand ngoba offer once a week so nje that's why athola unokuthola ilanga lonke
Velile wasingene ku game man wani nashaywa
ngasho uliphinde le that's why namhlanje bekunomoya wezitha uzumoya wenjabulo kwanye abantu eceleni hey inkosi yami ukuthi nakethi lize lafika lolu suku kodwa ayikho inkinga as I've said yesterday ukuthi it's one of those games that was bound to happen yokuthi sizoluza but kwesisikhathi kuya ukuthi siluza kanjani of which not a bad thing lose it's part of the game so it's okay we accept it we take it we move on equal with our competitor games and equal points so the race is still on asikaphela amandla saphambili but also engathanda ukuveza ukuthi I will love sometimes to see angazi man not only but ku coach wami kuphela but also with other PSL coaches to see a change of tactics of which we see because the last time we see it was Rulani because manje uyabheka mntakama mina nawe ngeke sifane wena njobu lapho mangabe let's say you're going to analyze the ball you have to show me into ebengayibonanga mina ngamehlo ambe ngiyibheke TV ngibukela ibhola to show ama details bengaunderstand so by saying that ukuthi ngisafisa nje ukubona sometimes ku coach wami especially when the chips are down ukuthi how is he going to lift the spirit up some player by not doing what he has been doing before by coming with different tactics that we are not used to. Because now I know, okay. So since ulokhunjana unkotha makudlala unkotha mangabakekho ngena usaleng on that position, but unfortunately usaleng was not in there. Thank you. So man, there was a letter something like I call this. So and then if our sevens is on the left hand side, then we move Uhoto. And then sometimes we take out Umbata, we will put in Ushenko. We take out Umabasa or take out Umabasa, we put in Ufkomot, Umakop. That's a predictable substitute. We'll see witness along the way. We still want to say something different, like in yesterday's games, whereby he had to change something, man, must be done. And have you noticed that substitution for Diabui?
Yeah.
Since I say Kushandu, my say we are fan Royen. And I'm still maintaining Guti. What's the aim of fitting at Liga? Yeah, no, because I failed to understand. Is that substitution more offensive or to stabilize the defense? Because we know Umunyane is not that good when it comes to defending. That's why even if you look at the ball, develop from the side, but out of position, Kichimela Pambil, and of which you know, Ryan is good when it comes to recover. Sometimes, who knows, maybe might have done miracles. We only a chance there. So. Man, but I still want to see different tactics. Even if you can put as much as you complain about Mabas, and then you like Umakhoba pressing and also throwing a defense away. Then sometimes if the chips are down, put him there. 18. Around. Then if you square there, but sometimes Makhoba get boxing, but as a striker who's not even on the box, and if the midfielders are not coming in, so we are doomed. We are doomed. So
I wanna ask you about those tactics. Where does Tito fit in all of this, Felile? I mean, ngati utito makonuma khopa. I don't know, man. Nano klahleka.
Bafo angazi man nakuthi ngambeka kuphi because mina so far mangibona I see ngiyaphila njalo. Bafo man kancane man.
Go right. It's okay, no problem. It's Glenn, welcome to the show. Didn't sang prak.
Sharp, my brother, wena.
Man, Keminati Glenn, play like a came in a mania Pirates. 1-0 lost to Stellenbosch. Or Renka came in.
No, Pila, I want to question something about the ideas of football, ne? At what point or at what position of the pitch do we stay compact? Because the goal that Orlando Pirates considered was more of them being compact on a wrong position on the football pitch. Okay. They were too high up to be compact, number one. So they need, especially when you're playing against a team that is attacking on the wings. You need to stay stretched at all costs because number one, Stellenbosch doesn't have that number 9 auto occupier more. So when you are stretched, it means you're going to defend the pillar. But then I asked myself why were they so compact? That's number one. Number two, okay, it's fine. Thabiso Munyane, Elivito, and Van Roy are the three right backs occupied. So my question is, of those three, who can you say this one is a championship winner in that position? You check Bodjela and Sesani. Is that combination a championship winning combination? You go to Makaola and Mbata. Sometimes Makaola is old. We must understand that Makaola will have off games where some days the muscles are not allowing him to move as freely as he wants to move.
Yeah.
So that's my question. Is it a championship winning combination? You go to Rile William again and Mohaun Kota. Are we not overburdening these boys? Are we not putting so much pressure on these boys to extent that they are not going to produce results week in, week out? Is it a championship winning combination?
Okay.
is Tito really the player that we all think he is, or he is just a one season wonder kind of a player? Is he a championship winning number 10? All in all, what I'm saying is that we must question the Orlando Pirates squad and say to ourselves, does Orlando Pirates have enough players to win the championship? If they have enough in terms of numbers, does it mean numbers account to quality? Because
do you think that Pirates have gotten to a point where they have to pick something, because you can't be competing on all fronts? Is it a time to pick and say, Azin, it's fine if we give up the Champions League, let's keep this starting lineup with the quality that we have there, or the parent quality we have there? Do we keep them for the big thing, the league, and then don't play them in other games?
You know what, ne? Honestly speaking, ne, I'm going to say this: Orlando Pirates does not have enough quality to compete on the Champions League. Even if they chose to compete for the league more than the Champions League, they were ultimately going to fall short of the Champions League. Okay. That's my thinking. So for now, the league, the issue of the league will depend on one thing. It will depend on whether who's this guy, Monapule Saleng, is available, and for how many games is Monapule Saleng available. Okay. You understand? Because Monapule Saleng is one of those players who understand the occasion. You remember there was a time where we spoke about games that we must win, and then games that we can afford to lose. Yeah. Monapule Saleng understands those types of situations where he understands he needs to win the game for Orlando Pirates, and when he needs to win the game, he comes up with something marvelous or something extravagant, for a lack of a better word.
Mara, we're being too harsh on them. I mean, this is the best start they've ever had in the PSL era.
No. Sometimes we give what we take. I get they are all over the place, running their mouth and saying that they are competing against Sundowns, and we all know the quality of Sundowns. So we must judge them according to what they put to us on social media. So in that front, we are not expecting anything less from them, because this is who they want to be, and we must and to whom much is given, much is expected. We must expect a lot, because they are giving us a lot.
Okay, no, Glenn, thank you so much. Hansa, 1-0, Stellenbosch beats Pirates. How did you feel about the game?
Mr. Oti, this game, it's a typical Pirates and Stellenbosch game, right? Last season in the league, they beat us twice. They did a double on us. Similar way. There is no new method that they used. They play like Madrid. They play on a counter. They stay back. They take the ball. That goal, if you check, I think there were only 2 players that played that ball to go and score, right? So basically, it's the same thing that
it was similar. It was similar to that first goal. It was similar to that first game that they played when Reynolds and Van Beek went out 2 men and scored last season, first game.
Yeah, so my problem starts with the defensive structure, especially with the likes of CBC, because he's a senior player, right? You cannot make simple mistakes like that when you are a senior player or when you are a well-seasoned defender, because what he did is he was playing like he's a CDM. He got a pass from the ball, he was alone, and then he took the ball, ran with it, he went to the center. Right, when you went there to the center, Stellenbosch is playing in their half, right, and Tito is facing you. You are the one who can see the players behind Tito. He cannot turn. Tito is left-footed. He turns to one direction, right? Okay. You pass him the ball, and the player is coming from the direction that he's gonna turn to. He takes the ball, he passes the long ball, and then they go and score, right? And the positioning of CBC is very questionable. I thought he was gonna do better since Nda is not there, even Kogi is not there. Now it shows there is a little bit of in football intelligence that is lacking from him when it comes to defending, especially when we are playing against teams that rely on counter attacks like that, right? And also when it came to Mahopa, Mufokeng and Maswanganya, I also had a problem there. Mahopo was playing more like a winger, which is something that I don't really understand why was he playing like that. Because if you check Rile and Maswanganya, they were interchanging the position of playing as a 10 and also as a false 9, right? Which also I did not understand because Rile is not a physical player. Stellenbosch players, they are very fast and they are physical. So if you're gonna play a player like that in the middle of the park, he's always gonna suffer because there's this Bargemang. I forgot his name, and there's also that other one that I forgot their names now. So those players, they are not players that you can just pass or eliminate like that because they are physical, right?
Yeah.
If you're gonna eliminate, you must also have the stamina to push them. That's the other thing that I had a problem. And the last one that I had a problem with is with Munyani. For me personally, I thought maybe the coach was going to put Mayela because Mayela listens. When you say Mayela, you're going to play a back 3, he's not going to move up.
Yeah.
You understand? Which was going to make it easy for players to cover the position of number 2 if Munyani is what is overlapping, right? So now you have Makaula, you have Mbata, you have CBC, we have Sesani. Those players, they are not fast, right? And the primary job, those players, they did their primary jobs. Right, Mbata, Makaula, Sesani, and CBC. But their secondary job was to cover whenever a number 2 overlaps, you must cover that position, right?
Yeah.
So all of them, they were not covering that position. That's why Titus got the ball. He was alone, and he was able to run from the center to the goalkeeper without being marked, right? If you see the space between him and our defenders, you can say, no, this player was free, right? So that's the other thing that I had a problem with. All in all, I'm happy we lost. Players are not going to go to the next game with that thing. No, we are making history. We have this burden over our heads and what. It's time to restart, reboot, and go to the new game without any other things on your mind.
So then how does Jose approach the next game? Do you keep the same starting lineup? Do you switch it up when you go forward throughout the season? Are we going to see more rotation from Pirates? How should he approach now going forward after losing this game?
No, I think he should not change. I think the only change that will be there is Maswangani because he has 4 yellow cards. I don't know if those cards they also apply in the CAF. They apply, right?
No, I don't think so. Jaden played. Didn't Jaden play confit game, even though he's got a red card back here? I don't think they apply.
Oh, okay. Also, I was thinking maybe it's going to be the change. But I think the way that Jose plays Tito, he must play him the way Bros plays him. He must be more forward than more central than the way he plays because he loses a lot of balls nowadays. So until he gets that form back of holding the ball, passing, and doing all those things that we used to know Tito to do, I think he should just play him more forward or just substitute him. There are a lot of players there in the bench that can play in that number, in that position, yeah.
No, thank you. And so let me go to Usupa. Super, long time, long see, man.
Hey, man, kunjani Kel?
Mangimnandi, man, super. Super, yeah, Pirates, 1-0. How did you feel about the game?
If there's any team that is worth losing to,
that knows Pirates,
in our league, it is Stellenbosch. If there's one team worth losing to in our league, it's Stellenbosch and currently Magesi.
Okay.
You know, when a team beats Pirates, people think it's a joke, it's a fluke. But when they face the same team, they also get the same result. Just look at the Black Label Cup. They were very quick to laugh that day Magesi eliminated Pirates. Ganti no, bazohamba ngeline. So Stellenbosch, I don't hear enough people on the panel actually congratulating Stellenbosch for a plan well executed. Steve Barker and the entire management of Stellenbosch needs to be acknowledged. They have done a sterling job. Siatanda as Tandi, this team is a force in the league. And Pirates is not the last big team to lose to them this season. That much I can guarantee. So, first loss of the season, the team looked lackluster. They really did look tired. A lack of rotation, plus long flights. It was bound to happen.
Mara, can you use it in this regard? Because Stellenbosch also did the same thing from Mali.
I was about to say, Uti, the bench is actually letting the team down.
Okay.
They are actually forcing Uribero to throw in youngsters and depend on youngsters because it's either they're not fit or they're not up to standard. I mean, Utladisa is not a youngster, but how much did he feature at Pirates, you know? And investment goes into those type of deals. And it's hard to recover financially from a failed transfer like that. Just to keep consistently taking chances. It's even a better bet to promote someone from the youth team. It's much more economical. It makes more sense to do what they've done. Ngabo Mohao, Nabo Sesane, Nabo Mufukeng. But yeah, now it's starting to tell.
Wasn't this bound to happen? Wasn't this bound to happen?
One thing you can't foresee when you're putting a squad together is the nature of the injuries that you're going to get. Yes, you're going to cater for injuries, but you're not going to think, I'm going to start the season with 8 key players on the injury list, and so it continues. At some point, Vert was going to show this is not the strongest 11 that's playing. Because when you put Utapelo Koki Unda together, that strengthens the defense so much more. A fit Paseka Mako is also incredible. So you can see he's struggling to catch up with the play and things like that. So the bench is letting the team down. The Gilberto transfer is not working out as yet. It's tough, but not to give up on the team. It's too soon to give up and say, hey, Ribeiro should be doing this and that and whatever. It's just the rotation that is not coming together. So the players need a break and the bench needs to step up.
So then how does Ribeiro approach, let's say, the next 5 to 10 games? Because the last time he rotated, it was a little bit taking Pirates. How does he approach it now? Because you're seeing maybe some fatigue in the first team. You're about to play some incredibly hard games versus Ahly. What does he do now? And will we see more rotation? Can he trust? Can he build the trust in the bench?
He doesn't have a choice. The nice thing I like about CAF group stages is that there's nowhere to run. So you have no option but to improve. And it's very rare that a team goes through CAF group stages and comes back weaker in the league. So, fanele babone ukuthi bayenza njani. Abo Dlamini need to get some stats. Abo Miguel team, we need to see them get incorporated. As I say, the injuries that we've had were injuries that were always going to catch up with us in the long run. But yeah, there's gonna be a dip and then there's gonna be a high again. So it's how does he approach it? I think sensibly, a counter attack, try to reserve energy, try to play a passing game, at least not be chasing the ball around, and hopefully we'll see Abule Pasa and other players slowly coming back into the team. Wazo afule load for these youngsters.
Okay. Let me jump in and bring in Ubusali. Busali, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hello, OT.
Busali, tell me about this loss, man. Tell me about this loss. How did you feel about it?
No, man. I think we should talk about that right back position. I think I would have really liked to see what would happen if they started with Dino van Rooyen. Because where was Thabiso Munyane when that goal happened by the Devon Titus? Where was he? we know gore Dino van Rooyen has, that recovery pace. And also Tito. I really think we have to question that combination between Tito and Evidence Makgopa. Because I feel like Evidence Makgopa, he comes into Tito's space a lot. We see that a lot with the PSL, especially even with Sundowns. Also, why is Evidence Makgopa always going wide? Because now they are playing with no target man.
Yeah.
I feel like Pirates...
Isn't he maybe trying to fix the problem we just spoke about, that maybe he feels bad about invading Tito's space a lot, so he has to go find another space sometimes?
But now, what happens to Rile and Unkot? What happens to them? So I feel like they should just tell him, Mona, stay in that straight, stay central, make those defenders work, make those centre backs work, stay there, make a headache for them.
Yeah.
Because we see that he does very well when he does that. You even see at Bafana when he does that, he does very well. Still scores a lot of goals when he does that. He's a great target man. And I feel like they are kind of limiting him. So if you want to play Tito, I feel like play no Cho Fatomabas. Or maybe you don't. Maybe it's just an instruction. Tell Evidence Makgopa to stay there. Don't come into Tito's space into the number 10, playing like a false 9. Don't go wide. Because if you go wide, now you're forcing your number 8 to come in. And now what does that do? You lose a number in your midfield.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. Also, Mfukeng, we saw in that first half, Hore, why is Mfukeng coming in as a number 10? He comes in as a number 10. Now you only have one man off that left flank. And when there's one man, when they catch on the counter, you're going to have problems. And if a long ball and then your two centre backs miss it, they are gone. That's how they scored the goal. It's a pass to the right. Now Thabiso Munyane and Dion Hoto are up, and then Titus is through. So yeah, I think
can we question Jose about that? Because if there's one team, in the PSL that you don't take both your fullbacks up against, they've punished you before. Why would we see that in this game? Should we question Jose and say, Mara Jose, you know these guys, they know you. Why allow that to happen?
Yeah, it's simple because you look at Devin, the pace of Devin Titus. And also, Stellenbosch, we have to remember, they didn't have 3 crucial players. In Basatin, Mujaela, and Jayden Adams. I would have really, really loved to see Mujaela in this game. Because Kupiro, we have to be honest, Majita, he didn't do anything. We have to be honest. Also, I want to congratulate some Stellenbosch players in that right back Ndaka, and also not the left back. I mean, and then the right back Musaila or something. Well done to him for keeping Relebodo Mfukeng quiet. And yeah, I think well done to Stellenbosch. Winning this game. A perfect Pirates, 100%. Without your 3 crucial players, yeah, well done to them.
Okay. No, Butali, thank you so much. Guys, we're going to be going into Sundowns next up. So please, if you are requesting, please know that we're moving into the Sundowns portion of the game, of the show, where we're going to speak about Mamelodi Sundowns and their 3-0 win versus Kukune. But before we go there, guys, how come we let coaches off the hook so much? Because we're speaking about Jose and we're saying that the players are doing it themselves. We're speaking about Nabi and we're saying the players are doing it themselves. At what point do we look at the coaches and say, but then coach, especially in this game, how do you allow that to happen in your team? Number one. Number two, I want to give Stellenbosch credit, guys. I want to give Stellenbosch credit. And I want to say about Stellenbosch, there's one player that I think is the most underrated player in the league right now. De Jong is incredible. De Jong doesn't have pace. He doesn't have skills. Mbona Shama step over at some point. He doesn't have skills, but he's able to hold the ball. When Stellenbosch wins the ball back, they can play it to him. He can hold it. He doesn't lose the ball. He plays it through. Sometimes he's the one that decides a lot. If you watch what Stellenbosch does, they attack with 4 players, 3 up front, De Jong in the back. And that man holds the ball. De Jong is an incredible player. Let's get to Pirates. I told you guys about Pirates, Guti. I don't think Evidence and Tito work well together unless Tito would be willing to run past to Evidence. So they essentially do this the whole game. Similar to what happens when Abo Dlamini and Abo Talent are playing in the midfield with Mahopa. They sort of run past to Mahopa. Because two things are happening. Number one, we are losing Mahopa's big strength. Mahopa has 2 big strengths. Number one, somebody said in the comments, he's a tap-in merchant. That space between the goalkeeper and the defense, if you play balls enough into that area, he's going to score one of them. But he's always on the wing. Always on the wing, always trying something. And on the wing, he can't pass, he can't trap, he can't do all of those things at a high level. So he loses the ball a lot and you lose Mahopa. But number 2, he's a very good target man. Hugo Bruce, what he does with Mahopa usually is he bypasses the midfield. If they need to get into attacking spaces, he bypasses the midfield by playing a long ball in. Mahopa wins the first ball or creates enough chaos that now the ball is dropped in. Now Bomfukeng, Nabotito, Nabosbanban could work. But Pirates rarely uses him there. Like they hardly play him there. And once Mahopa drops in, Utito Shem, you lose him. Already you've lost to Tito because you're playing a wide ball. They were playing a wider game. The moment you do that, you've lost your 8s and 10s. So Tito goes missing. Then Orile, I think Orile shows Bukokomelon sometimes, man. He shows his youth. He goes missing at times. And maybe the game is not played for him specifically because I don't think Orile is at a point yet where he can come in and play the 10 properly. Come in and play the 10. He's usually better when he's facing up his man and is running at his person. But if you've got Hoto running up that side already, what happens to those guys? So I think Pirates, winning cures everything. Pirates has been winning games through shots and all of those type of goals. It hasn't been necessarily straight up. It's been a play, Baltungile, Bayokora, not for a lot of the goals. And it starts to show itself. It starts to show itself in these type of results. And then you start asking questions. But when you're winning, you kind of forget about all of these things. Pirates, for me, has been incredible up to this point in the season. They don't sweat too much. They do what they need to do. Then they relax. They're not trying to overwhelm their players and all of that stuff. But guys, travel is travel. High-intensity games are high-intensity games. Sometimes you just have a hangover. There's a hangover from going to go play Ngale, Nabo Kanyisa Mayo, the fireworks. It's your first time back, all of that stuff. Sometimes there's that plays in. So anyway, Stellenbosch might not do this a lot, but you have to think that they're going to do it against Pirates. And that's why I wonder, Amara Jose, this is the game where you tell Hoto, hey, back 3, ungai pambili. Monyani can do what he wants to do, but ungai pambili. Or you bring in Maela or you do something like that. But anyway, let me bring in the next panel, guys. We're going to be speaking about Mamelodi Sundowns. Please make sure that we're going to speak about Mamelodi Sundowns. We should have some time left at the end of the show. I'm going to let everybody that wants to jump in and give me a minute or two of what they're thinking or something they wanted to speak about. I saw some people in the comments saying that. Luckily today we can do that. Please remember, we're going to be back. Banyana is playing at 2:30 a.m. I'm going to be here. They're playing their second game versus Jamaica. They lost their first one 3-0, if I'm not mistaken. And we're going to be watching that game live as well. Then I'll put aside some time in the show so that we can speak about them in Jamaica and Jamaica as a whole over the 2 games that they've played. Please, Tata Scream. Guys, the Kikupile 60,000. Kopa 60,000. Guys, tap and scream. It's free. Just tap it. It's free. We were here at 3 a.m. last time out. And then Kupari gift, guys. Shout out to Fana Shandu. Shout out to Sipo. Papa Hosi Fandenom, who always contributes. Super Sfuba. Sipo no Gustavo. Thank you so much for the gifts on that side. Let me go to Agent. Agent, my brother, welcome to the show.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening.
Is Mangoba slowly winning you over? 3-0 versus Kukuna. How did you feel about the game?
Yeah, no, he has what you call a stay of execution. Temporary relief. I'm not interested in the game, to be honest with you. I think sometimes people miss the point. I don't know if they do it intentionally, or sometimes you have to say things in vernac and then say it in English and then slowly, and then the problem with Coach Mangoba is not the draw against Maniema. Is the fact is how he played. Are we gonna have more games like Polokwane, like Maniema, where we don't pitch up? Are we not gonna pitch up again, say in a final or a semi-final? What happens then? If Packers continue being this good, are we gonna drop? Should we expect to drop points in 4 or 5 games? That was my worry with Mangoba. It's like, Mangoba, we are taking on thin ice, because now, at first we thought, no man, against Stelis, players are sabotaging you, but it's now your own players against Polokwane that played, and then you say you sorted things out. You have mixed them both in the Maniema game, but it's still the same performance as Polokwane MTN8, Polokwane League game, Stelis MTN8, and now Maniema. We are not pitching up, and the problem with him was saying, don't be nonchalant. I support you on full rotation. It's fine, do full rotation. You have won me over OT in terms of full rotation, and I support it. But read the room. You cannot from a loss rotate. You need to go and win. Right now, what needs to happen is, let's build momentum. Win 3 games, then you can start rotating again. That's what you talk about, reading the room. Don't rotate for the sake of rotating. Yes, I can rotate and I'm able to rotate. No, you don't do that. We have to. Now, people are saying this was an average performance. This was, for me, the best performance. This is the performance that I want. That I don't expect my team to be playing good 30 games. No, that's impossible. But those games where you don't play well, come home with 3 points. You didn't pitch up, you didn't play well, you didn't do all those kinds of stuff. It's okay, but now get something. That's what makes Sundowns. That even in games where we're not supposed to get anything, we get something. That's the difference between us and Pirates from last season. The Pirates, random Tuesday, they don't play well, they lose points. Us, we don't play well, but we get points. That's the most important thing for me. And that's what I saw. That's why even during the live, I defended him for saying, no, I don't know if you think the game is boring, is what. It's fine. This is what I want. Game, make the game boring. Again, our criticism, me and you now, I'm including you because you started it and I joined you because I agreed with you that you cannot play high intensity football for 90 minutes. You can't. You have to know your moments, that these are moments where I have to slow down the tempo, I have to increase the tempo, Now, what happens? 60th minute, we drop the tempo. We played possession for possession's sake. We're just circulating it. Something which he doesn't want. I try to speak slow Bongani so that I can be heard. There's a reason why I speak slow today, so that I'm teaching you guys soprano today, sorry. No, but that's the point, that sometimes you have to kill the game, circulate the ball. He says he doesn't want the ball to be circulated. Yesterday or last weekend, he circulated the ball. Hence, I'm against people saying, but you promised high intensity football. You promised that we'll be intentional about the possession. Yes, he said those, but he saw that it's not working. He's correcting it. And that's what I want from my coach. Correct something that he says wrong. Just because you said you're going to do something, when it's not even working out, come back and fix it. That's what I want from my coach.
But I want to ask you,
that's what made me happy about these games.
How much does, the question I'm going to ask is about public relations. How much of this is a public relations problem? with Manqoba and his brand of football and his brand of him, and maybe the inconsistencies when we watch them? How much of it is this? And maybe what he says.
That's another problem that I have with him. My main problem with Rulani, people sometimes interpret it for hate, but I don't know. It's okay. I said he had verbal diarrhea. Manqoba is following in the same pay, in the same place. Lower the expectations. Yes, it's okay to pipe the players and everything, but don't say things that are going to quickly catch up with you. Don't promise us M10-8 and don't deliver. We look at you in a certain way. Don't give us what is it called? Promise us Carling. We look at you in a certain way. Don't say you're going back to CAF Champions League, our bread and butter, and you're going to be in a semi-final. You see, you are putting yourself under unnecessary pressure. You are saying Pirates, Sundowns, Ahly, I forget the third team that are going to win the semis. That's so unnecessary to say. What happens when you don't go to the semis? You see, you're going to look at those things and look at you like, man, where am I? So I think he has to work on that. For me, hence, I believe that if it was possible, Shem, Steve could be doing these interviews. But just one last comment on the football.
Okay.
Sales. Guys, I was firstly disappointed with people booing Sales for getting a penalty. I didn't like it. You don't like Sales, but he's about to take a penalty. The most important penalty went to go 1-0 up. Yet you are booing him. But what I loved is the Sundowns supporters quickly rushed to his aid and applauded him. Had they not stepped in and applauded him and praised him and like sang for him before he took the penalty, he was gonna miss it. But I think the fact that people booed him, then a lot of them came in and applauded him, that helped him to gain his confidence. And I don't know, I don't think for me I have a problem with Sales being out wide, because I think you take him away from the goals, you are putting him under less pressure of being the last man or being the target man or being the guy in the box to finish chances, because he wouldn't miss them if it's not there, but he can take those chances. So I think he is maybe similar to Reyners, play them both out wide, and by playing him out wide, you are avoiding crowding Costa, because last game before this one, we criticized him for crowding Reyners. So I'm happy that Manqoba corrected that. So I'm happy with the win. I'm happy with Manqoba. Stay of execution is granted. Thank you.
Let me go to PK. PK, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hola Uti.
PK, la wina 3-0 man. La wina 3-0. Silent 3-0 man.
Obvious. Like I give a little proud or something. Says ki ditele bone kada go WhatsApp group. So I'll be fine. So I'm fine. I don't want to deal with them any further. It was a good performance, although I still have my concerns. Well done to Mamelodi Sundowns. I want to point few. One, Motaung. And I think at some point, Coach Manqoba was singling him out, and the media, or rather he was talking about him, and the media made it a bit personal. But I was observing on Saturday to say, what is this guy doing? I don't know. Motaung, he opens a space, man, OT, and I'm worried about that thing. When the ball is going to the direction of Mamelodi Sundowns, or they are taking Mamelodi Sundowns, there is a lot of space, and those things costed us, even in Magezi final, where you are waiting for someone to come to you, but you are a defender, and they are able to cross that balls, and fortunately Magezi had us. This time, Williams saved the ball. I don't know but it was almost the same thing, and Williams was able to save it. This space is very. The space that he leaves is dangerous because it can hurt us, and I'm worried if he continues like this, we will find people who are able to shoot, who are accurate, and they will convert goals. I don't take anything from the boy. The boy is quality, we all know that. But it seems like there is a bit of relaxation from whatever or a style that he's creating for himself, which is not a good style. He must learn to press. He must learn to take the ball. And that's the Motaung that we know. But for now, I don't know. That's one. Two, I feel like Mokwena, me, you know, I'm brutal. I feel like Mokwena is our light Tito in Mamelodi Sundowns. You are there by tech, but honestly, I don't know. I'm trying. In fact, I'm looking at Obas. Obas is just outstanding. He's marking, he's distributing those balls. But for Mokwena, I don't know, man. You find him so deep nowadays. Yes, playing, but from deep, circulating the ball, but from far, man. I don't know what's going on, which makes Allende to be all over the place. I'm still sticking to that thing. There are players that are lost. I don't know what we are creating. I don't know what we are combining or cooking. I saw also Aubrey struggling, and I was like, "Yo, what's going on?" And these are the players that we really know that they have the potential to break the low block and push. Right, I was happy on how we were patiently waiting for Sekhukhune to break, and these teams have decided first half they will never play. That's what they have decided in PSL, and that's what Stellenbosch did yesterday. They have decided to say we're not gonna play first half, we will play second half, and we struggle with converting sometimes, and I'm speaking generally, not only through Sundowns. As these teams, they have just learned a method of defending themselves and hating us, right? But I want to come back and say, again, yo, this boy is really giving me peace, man. Who's this guy? Khoza. Khoza is reminding me of Kotie. What a well-fitting boy. I don't know the pace. I haven't checked him well concerning the pace, but accuracy, taking the ball, able to distribute the ball. I was very well impressed with how he played. Ribeiro was not that much on the game. This one I will be honest, I like that boy, but he was not in this game, man. Sekhukhune, I don't know. That's not the Ribeiro I ordered, but we played very well. I'm still waiting to see if we will be able to compete in Africa CAF. I'm not convinced. I'm scared. I don't want to lie. On the performance that we are doing, it seems like a coach is not. He doesn't care. Maybe Rulani was saying this thing towards him. Who cares? He doesn't care. Inconsistency is there. You see, we have one beautiful tree. But you will see the next game. I don't know what's happening. I don't know. You will see the next game. But players we have, quality we have. Are these players playing under a certain instruction? Are they not expressing themselves as how we know them in football? And even if they are trying to circulate to find those breaks ups, are they told to move faster because we are promised of pace? I don't know. But all I can say is that I'm worried of this bit inconsistency. Sundowns is killing, but I must say I'm happy again with Reyners, the clinicality of Reyners. I don't want to talk more about sales. The honest truth about sales, I haven't seen anything. Not because of hatred. I'm not hating the boy, but this is Mamelodi Sundowns. What makes you to be in that line before Lethaku and makes us to understand you, that you are there? But maybe I will see. Let me give him another extra 2 games. I'll come back and you know me, I will talk because there are things that I've seen which I'm not happy with, and that's the honest truth.
PK, are we being harsh on Coach Manqoba and the performances up to this point?
Yes, I think we are harsh based on reference. We are not harsh out of our feelings and logic. Sundowns took games very seriously, and I can tell you the last year Sundowns, this game, Miami or Coco Million, I don't know, we could have won that game. That's how serious we took it. But this first lineup, it was not, it's like it was communicating to us like, yeah, it's just a game. But this is not just a game. And maybe our harshness and how we come hard on him is that you are too casual. You are too relaxed. And within the game, because I don't know if you are carrying this thing or we will come back, we are Mamelodi Sundowns. You don't do that. So maybe our harshness comes from that position. Yes, his coaching is getting the results, but how? It's a big problem, man.
Okay. Now let me bring in Gustavo. Gustavo, welcome to the show. How are you?
Good, and you?
Gustavo. Tell me about this game.
I came, as we all saw it in the first half, it was all over the place. We were wondering what was happening, Certain players were all over the place, Just to highlight other sales. It was all over the place first half. I didn't understand what it's trying to do. It was more in the backline positions than up front. It was more on the, I won't even say in the wing positions. It was more on the right midfield or left midfield positions, if I can put it like that.
Yeah.
I was wondering what he was doing in that first half. So poor first half from us, unbalanced first half from us. I couldn't understand. Hence why we didn't even get any shots on target. Didn't even get any shots on targets. The chances that were being created, poor chances.
Yeah.
So, but to answer PK quickly, a player like Mokwena is playing deep currently. It's due to coaching instructions. You see Aubrey Modiba in that first half, you look at the position he was occupying, he doesn't really have the freedom to express himself in that first half. It's down to coaching instructions. It's down to coaching instructions, so you cannot really criticize the players on where he's playing, but how he plays that position. Is Mokwena doing good, playing deep? Yes, he's doing good. Could he be doing better? Could he be doing more? Does he offer us more? Yes, he could offer us more, because we've seen him offering us more, moving from that position, advancing higher up the pitch. Also Aubrey Modiba. Are you asking Aubrey Modiba to just sit back on that left back position, to overlap sometimes?
Yeah.
So when you're asking him to overlap sometimes, it becomes a problem. You don't really see Aubrey Modiba in the game. Then you look at that second half, where by now Aubrey Modiba is investing in that midfield. Look at the balance it gives us. He comes into that midfield, plays balls forward. Now we have more freedom for a player like Mkhulisi to go higher up the pitch. Another player in the midfield to go higher up the pitch, because already we have it covered. With the Aubrey Modiba in that midfield, investing in, adding that extra creativity from in deep. More players can be able to play. More players can be able to gel with the ball. We can create an overload with the ball. So it was just a game of two halves, man. It was a game of two halves whereby I feel like we had a good second half, bad first half. Good second half, bad first half, and other sales. I think if he can give us what he gave us in that second half against Cook, if he can give us more of that, I think some supporters like Bob PK can see what this guy has to offer, because I was surprised to see him running in behind. I was surprised to see him make good runs in behind. He was just doing a lot of creativity, running in behind. The same way Renas runs in behind. He had chances to run in behind. He was getting into those positions, sprinting. I was like, you have this also in your arsenal. So if you have that in your arsenal, let's see if we utilize it more. Let's see what you can do. I think it would always be the case of what you saw with the Tashrik Matthews under Coach Rulani, whereby we didn't really see the boy's full potential. Not many know that the boy can be creative. Not many know that the boy is a goal scorer. Not many know that the boy can give you crazy assists, runs in behind. They didn't see that under Coach Rulani. So I'm asking that they give Salias time. Hopefully he gives us that performance that he gave us in the second half, that eventually end him the man of the match award. It wasn't just the penalty, end him the man of the match award, that second half performance. So there'll always be that case, there'll always be that case of, I think we'll have more of those problems whereby first half it's a bad performance, second half it's a good performance, and which is excellent from the coach. Excellent from the coach. If you're going to have a bad first half and a good second half, it's excellent from you because changes made in the dressing room, whatever was said in the dressing room, changes made on the pitch. It's actually good. It shows that whatever you were doing first half, you saw that it's not working. Change it up and let's do this in the second half, and it actually works. Credit to the coach. Where credit is due, we have to give credit to such. Creating more chances, 9 shots, creating nine chances. So where's the credit to the coach?
Okay. Do you think that people are overly unfair on the coach?
I've always said this, and agent did mention. Yes, they are being unfair at times, but to point out 2 games were exact. I won't even mention the games under during the MTN because that was just an anomaly on its own. Something whereby we're all shocked. What's going on? What's happening? But look at the Polokwane City game. You look at the Menayama game. You can easily point out that there are similar problems between the 2 squads on the pitch. They're starting the game. There are similar problems that we are facing. That's where you can see, I can criticize the coach on this. I can be unfair if I have to be unfair on the coach on this. But I feel like from the performances that is giving us, they are being unfair. We are top of the log. We haven't lost a game in CAF as much as that draw should have been a win. But we haven't lost in CAF. We've reached the final whereby we lost fair and square. So what criticism is there whereby Sundowns once lost a game earlier on in the season and they ended up the season with 1 loss in the league. So who knows what can happen going from here onwards? Who knows what can happen going from here onwards? We've been this, and you always said this. I think you said this also after the Sundowns game, that what happened under Coach Rulani is an anomaly, and we shouldn't expect it to ever happen, whereby you almost go the whole season unbeaten. Whereby most of the games that you've lost, you didn't lose them in game, you didn't lose them between the duration of 90 minutes. That's a rare thing to find in every game. Your team that you support in England has been the only team that has went invisible in England. So how many teams are able to replicate that?
Yeah.
Such things, they hardly come around in a season. So what Coach Rulani achieved, people should forget. Compare this season to other seasons Sundowns has had. Don't compare them to last season, because once you do that, you're making a mistake and you are putting yourself in a difficult position. You're putting the coaches under pressure, putting the players under pressure. You're putting yourselves as the fan under pressure, whereby now you're confused. You don't know what you want. Because criticizing the guy that left, that he was playing a certain way, but you're criticizing this guy who's trying to play a certain way, and you're expecting him to replicate what last season was, what happened last season, or asking him to do more. What more can he do?
For time, I'm gonna jump in, Gustavo. For time, I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna echo that. This is what I want to say. Guys, if you look at the stats, I had it here. In the group stages last year, Mamelodi Sundowns drew a game, lost the game, and won 4 games. I believe the loss was TP Mazembe, and the draw was Pyramids, if I'm not mistaken. Currently, he's got a draw. You look at the league. Last season, obviously, Rulani finished and had 1 loss the entire season. Fine. We all know that is a flash in the pan. That is a season that you can't even think might happen again. It's just that incredible what happened there. He's currently got 1 loss in the league, 6 wins, again 7 wins. You look at the cups. Calling knockout. Got knocked out, but lost the final? Rulani got knocked out first round, if I'm not mistaken, to TS Galaxy, for example. We look at the other cups, MTN 8, okay, Paris got to the final. Maybe the only difference will be that at this point, the AFL is no longer around. And the reason why I bring this up is to say, what is it that is it about Coach Mangoba that we're making so much noise about him? If not, maybe it's not necessarily what's happening on the pitch, I mean, even if you look at the games that Rulani played, there were so many games where it was, hey, the luckiest 1-0. It was the defender slipping. It was, hey, Yazi, he played some games last season where Le Comiloniake was switched off and they just managed to scrape through. So if this man is also, his last one, he's still unbeaten in terms of the league. Well, he's got one loss on his record and no draws. What noise are we making? Are we being fair? And maybe that's the thing. I've spoken about Coach Mangoba on plenty of occasions because I've said that it feels like Rom says, abamfuni. It feels like, man, he's not gelling with you guys. And I think sometimes, hey, I'm gonna defend him. If it please the court, let me defend my client. Do you understand the situation that Coach Mangoba has walked into? Coach Mangoba is taking over a team that was coached by a guy that almost went invincible. Coached by a guy who had a name brand of football. That's just on the surface level. Number one, at the top. That's already hard enough. Number two, he's coaching a team that he coached before and was demoted at some point. Number two. So already he's stepping in from somebody who was let go for the other guy. Number three, we can speak about Umangoba. And you can speak about... You can speak about Mangoba and you can speak about everything that Rulani did. But then you look at Mangoba and you're like, guys, he's fighting against players that Rulani, we spoke about the notes and the hugs and the family and all of that stuff in the middle of a war. So a lot of these players, I'd like to believe, a lot of these players that picked a side. Now you have to deal with the guy that's left. That's harsher, that's stricter, that you guys didn't like and all of that stuff. So now he also has to deal with changing those people's mind because he's not going to get a transfer window where he'll be able to change people and bring in other players. So I think you have to be appreciative of where it is. Oh yeah, by the way, also, he's installing a new style of play on top of all of that. Now, some of these things are up to Coach Mangoba. There are some things I don't agree with. Mara, for the most part, you look at it and you go, to be at this point in this season with all of that, I think that's an incredible job. Oh, that's a good job. At the very least, it's a good job. At the very least, it means that he needs to prove himself going forward. So at this point, I don't think it's bad enough to be throwing toys out of the cot, but he needs to go prove himself going forward. Now, when we come to the game, this was what's scary about this game. We all watched it together. We were here watching live. I can't tell you too much about what happened in that game, tactically, where this and that and what. We complained at the end of the first half that, man, this Sundowns team doesn't look like they're in it. They look lethargic. They're not running. Wada. Then you look up and the score is 3-0. That's scary to me. That's scary. Yeah, Mangoba, what. Oh, he's number one on the log. Hey, Mangoba, what. He's in a final. I don't know, man. I genuinely believe that it's too much. We are holding this man to too much to account, and I think it's all about him as the person and how he relates to the fans and the club and all of that stuff and how the club views him. But if you look at what he's doing, you can't complain too much, guys. Let's be honest. But anyway, let me see, guys. There were some people that wanted to jump in. I'm gonna give you a minute to just tell me what you're thinking. Some people earlier on during the Chiefs game wanted to jump in and speak about the Chiefs. Some people wanted to speak about Pirates. I'm going to give everybody a minute just to let everybody come in and, tell me what they're thinking about. Butari, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good, Oti. How are you?
No, I'm okay. Butari, I'm going to give you a minute. What do you think about whatever we're speaking about today, the three matches we spoke about?
Look, I think my thing is with Umangoba and Coach Nabi. Sorry, for Coach Mangoba, I think we personally have a problem with Coach Mangoba. And yesterday we spoke about this where we even agreed that I think we don't like the guy. Like right now, no one knows how he got to number one, and he's number one.
Yeah.
We're all sleeping, thinking Orlando Pirates is leading the pack. Hey, Orlando Pirates,
The favorites.
and all of a sudden, Jiggy now Sundowns is number one. Chances that they might finish the end of the year being on the number one spot. Because we've been sleeping, and Coach Mangoba, that's what he's been looking for. So for me, I think we are behaving as if Sundowns is Al Ahly in a way that we don't have that leeway of any sloppiness, any mistakes that could happen, and we complain about anything and everything, and taking over from the darling of media, Coach Rulani Mokwena. I think that's where the problem is. And I did say the other day, I said, Coach Rulani is a darling of the media. Look at the advertising. Look at how he's covered when he's in Wydad, when he was at Sundowns. His age makes him a very, very attractive coach in Africa. Maybe that is why the pressure comes from there. Given that he went to 2 finals, he lost in the 2 finals, that pressure carries over to Coach Mangoba. Yeah. And then we become unfair saying Coach Mangoba was there. But anyway, that's my feeling.
Can I ask, could the pressure also be that you'd expect Sundowns to be moving forward again? So you're expecting Sundowns to progress again, and maybe after Rulani, and maybe looking at Coach Mangoba, those things are also following him, that Mangoba, when everybody was maybe expecting something else. I don't know what that something else is, but the moment Rulani left, maybe Sundowns fans expected a little bit more in terms of what it looks like, the visuals of it. Does that make sense?
I think also Sundowns made a mistake. When they let Coach Rulani left, there were rumors that Coach Mangoba will be in the management and then negotiating with a certain coach. And you know where the certain coach was coming from, was a high-profile coach coming from Man United. So Sundowns fans let me say South African fans, we were expecting that. So that's where the problem started. And that's where the problem started. So that's why I'm saying that agreement of saying, okay, it's fine, we didn't catch the coach we're looking for, then let's rob you in, then that's where also the pressure is coming from. But and that's what I'm saying, we're being unfair. Look at it. How many games? Is it 8 games, 1 loss, and
most goals scored?
I think that also, again, this is my last point on Sundowns before I go to Chiefs. It's because also Orlando Pirates is doing well. So we used to Sundowns having so much gap up front. Maybe that is why where they have no competition leading the pack. So now Pirates doing well, we're thinking Sundowns is doing terribly bad. So, but that's
very
my point.
Very quickly into Chiefs.
Yeah. So with Chiefs, I say this, and I did say this after the Chiefs games. As South Africans, we respect foreign coaches so much that we give them a leeway. That's my point. Coach Nabi's stats are exactly like Coach. In fact, Coach Atazwane was better. Coach Nabi's stats are exactly like Coach Ntsiki. And the worst part is we love the guy. He's being portrayed like the Jesus Christ of Kaizer Chiefs. They'll come and save Kaizer Chiefs. But he's not doing well. He's doing sloppy mistakes that we've been seeing for the past 5 seasons. Ever since we started having the channel, we've been speaking about the same thing with Kaizer Chiefs. We see that my question is, and this is my departing words, when are we going to start questioning Coach Nabi? When are we going to start saying, dude, I think now it's time for you to be settled. Don't continue doing the same mistake. You have better players than what Coach Zwane have. Give us something better. When are we going to start questioning Coach Nabi? That's me. Thank you.
And I'm gonna jump on that point before I bring in Ongama. I did a video, was it 2 weeks ago? I did a video where I said the honeymoon is over. The honeymoon should be over right now, because I think Chiefs, for the first time, they've conceded in all of their opening games. For the first time, I believe, in the PSL era, if I'm not mistaken. I think we've seen the same defensive collapse. I think we've seen Mamelodi Sundowns beat us 4-0. They've beat us 5-1 before. And Abunteki were doing a little bit better with their defensive setups. If you think about those games that he fought to Rulani. So at what point, not to say he must be fired, not to say he must be moved on, but at what point do you start looking at him and saying, this Chiefs is looking a lot like the previous Chiefs that we've seen over the past few years, when do we start looking at him and saying, my guy, Iskat is running out, man, or not even Iskat, can you show us something? You showed us something in attack. Can you do the same for the defense? Can you balance out that team? I mean, sitting number 7, sitting number 7, 7 games played, 3 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses, 12 scored, 10 conceded. Very interesting. But anyway, let me go to Ungama. Ungama, you wanted to give me something. Parting shot.
Sure. I will be short. In terms of Kaizer Chiefs, for me, for now, I'm still certain with the coach in how he styles his planning in terms of the games. He changes his blends in terms of the profile of the players in different games. So personally, I'm still certain with the way he prepares his types of games. Sometimes he becomes sloppy in the games like Sundowns. He becomes sloppy in terms of the approaching of the game. But what I observed in our team, it's not the coach's problem. It's more like a players' problem. Sometimes players making simple mistakes like Frosler getting a red card, like Abo Miguel getting red card, unnecessary red cards, costing the teams. So what I observed in our team, it's players. Maybe I would say it's a lack of discipline, but sometimes those things I don't know how to fix them. It's a player mentality. You can tell that the coach has a plan in.
Oh, I think we've lost Ongama. Actually, I wanted to ask. I'll ask in the comments. Then why do we give him the grace of having a bad team? And we haven't given that grace to Kevin Johnson. We didn't give that grace to Ntseki.
He has the plan in terms to approach the games, but the players sometimes they make costly errors every single game. I don't know how to fix those things because these are individual errors. If the defender makes a simple error, he doesn't drop and defend, so we concede the goals. If the striker doesn't hold when we attack, he doesn't hold a little bit the ball and make sure he make a decisive thing and shoot. So these are the things that the players are told. I'm sure these things are told to the players. Sometimes it's a matter of the game, you see, OT. So I think personally, I believe that the coach is telling the players those things, but the players sometimes they get lost into the game. That's how I view things. It's a mentality of the players. I believe Atazwane was in the right way. Ntseki was in the right way, but the problem I don't know whether it's something dealing with the players. The problem is within the players. Sometimes it will get along the way when we get the right quality as time goes on. When we get into the market and get the right type of the players that I think they can adjust our system and make sure that we defend well, we are attacking well, we make sure that our team is in the right direction. I think personally, it's a player's problem. You can't say the coach was the problem in how we considered the goal in the last weekend. That was not the problem of the coach. The problem was the players not dropping and defend. You attack the player, you are being dribbled, then it's a 1v1 with the defender, and that defender is dribbled and you concede the goal. So those things, it's a player's mentality. Sometimes you drop and defend and making sure that you absorb much pressure in making sure that you don't concede goals. These are the costly errors that made by the players. I'm sure the coach are addressing this.
I think we're behind a little bit. Can you hear me, Ngama? But for time's sake, okay, let me just ask you this question. How come we didn't give that grace as the last thing? How come we didn't give that grace to the other coaches? How come we didn't give that grace to Kevin Johnson or Ntseki, for example, to say, maybe it's the players that are doing these things, number one. And then number two, how do you fix it? Because now we're seeing intergenerational issues between players from this season, season before, season 3 years ago. How do you fix that then? Because we've brought in quality, we've changed players, still the same issues. Hey, Ongama, for time's sake, I guess I will ask the comments. Oh, here we go. Oh, here we go. I think it's just a bit of delay. There's a bit of a delay. Before I go to Butlali, I guess that's the question I want to ask you guys. That I'm kind of, and I want to be honest, I am kind of getting sick of the excuses. I'm kind of getting sick of it's players, it's coach, it's this, it's that, because it makes it sound to me like these things are not going to be fixed. And now we're picking and choosing the coaches that we like and the coaches we don't like. Somebody in the comments mentioned something. I love Coach Gavin Hunt. Coach Gavin Hunt said to us, I had to pick between the league and CAF Champions League. And he even explained it. He said that the CAF Champions League is a little bit slower. It suits the game. I could play a better game after that. I could play a better game there. And the PSL, we'd have to suffer in the PSL, but we'd get to the final of the Champions League. And he did it in a transfer ban year. So if Gavin Hunt could do those type of things, why is it that coach after coach after coach after that, we don't, number one, they don't do that, number one, but then number two, we don't hold them accountable. And again, guys, if you're new to the show, accountability is not getting rid of the coach. That's not what we're saying here. Accountability is, Mara coach, it defense yakho has been left two-man a lot of times. When you play your 4 attackers, Cross gets pulled out of position because he has to cover the wing for Sereno and the wing back. And because he's out, those defenders now go missing. And you're asking them to do things they're uncomfortable with. So at what point do I look at Coach Nebi and say, hey, Coach Nebi, you're seeing Royal AM is pushing us. Let's go to a back 5. Hi, Coach Nebi, something's happening here. These are the questions that I want to ask, because I think I'm tired of hearing the excuse that we're pining for the next transfer window. Oh, next transfer window, so let's call it. I did a video now. I've got a TikTok video out right now where I speak about how we've cycled through lots of players that are quality players. But we keep saying the next one, and Maupe for my back funa, and the next day Maupe for my back funa, Masik sign a sakfuni, Solando Munye, the next one who's shining Solanda Yena. I Marangena, na Samfuni. I'm tired, guys. I'm tired. That's all me. Butlali, you wanted to give me a closing statement here?
Yeah, to touch on Chiefs very briefly, I think we need to ask Coach Nabi, what is he trying to do with our fullbacks? What is he trying to do with our fullbacks? Because there is no way you have all our fullbacks, both of our fullbacks pushed so high up the pitch. Yeah. And you have our midfielders as well, so high up the pitch. And you're literally playing with a back line of 2 men. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. Because, let's be honest, if we, in that Royal AM game, we almost got caught. We did get caught on the back post. And that's the problem, because if Cross is pushed up high, then there's no cover for him. And because you pushed all your midfielders up high, they don't have cover as well. Why is Oxum Teta pushed so high, so up the pitch? He's a 6. A 6 must stay. I don't understand why we're playing with 7 attackers. I genuinely don't understand. Why are we playing with 7 attackers? If you want to attack aggressively, at least push them and leave Ox at the back, so to deal with those counters and for him to cover.
Yeah,
exactly, to cover. It doesn't make sense for both our fullbacks and our 6 to push up, because then it defeats the purpose of attacking fullbacks, because there's no cover.
And no, even to that point, even if the idea made sense to you, I think we've been caught so many times that at some point you have to go, maybe we need to find another plan because we are conceding a lot of goals.
OT, and I ask, Sunday we're playing Polokwane City. What happens when you get caught on the back post against Polokwane City? What happens when you get caught on the back post against TS Galaxy? What happens? Mind you, I haven't even got to the superpower teams such as Pirates, Sundowns, Stellies. I haven't got there. What happens when you got, because let's be honest, there's no quality in Royal AM. There's no quality there. What happens when you get caught on the back post against mid-table teams? We really have to ask ourselves that, because there was a couple of sides of the game where there was a free man back post and Ublom was pushed high up the pitch, cross high up the pitch. Mtetwa, out of all people, high up the pitch, no cover. Now Mtetwa, it's like we're playing with a 8 and a 10. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. It makes zero sense. How can one play with a double? You have to have a 6. In modern football, a 6 is very, very important, because modern football has evolutionized to the point where it's so attacking. We forget about our back structure. And then on coach
well, maybe you're gonna go into this. When do we start questioning Coach Nabi? Because I don't hear questions.
I'm coming. And then on Coach Nab, I actually don't think it's the players. I think the players have quality. I think it's the structure. Because if we go into players past, it's players that Chiefs fans right now would want. Let's look at Gavin Msimango, a former international, Bafana International and TS Galaxy captain.
Yeah.
The clockwork. You covered this, man. But it's the structure. And a structure, we have to understand that a structure it's not easy to build a perfect structure, especially with Nabi. He's only been here 4 months. I think the real test about Nabi will come either next season or after January signings.
Okay. Butlali, for time's sake, I'm going to jump in because we're going to close now. Lindo Pep is starting his show at 9 o'clock. So Lindo Pep, the TTB show is starting at 9 o'clock. So feel free to jump on over that side. Once you have followed, please follow this side. And thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please support us content creators, guys. We are here every day doing these things, fighting through a lot of stuff to get these shows here. So please support us. Please like, please share, please talk about us. Please contribute. You can contribute. There's an account number in my profile. If you click on the link, just support us, guys. Keep us going, because we love this, and places like this don't exist. You know, you can't call into Supersport, you can't call into SABC, you can't call into Marawa to have a discussion like this. So this is the thing where we want to come out and really give I want to come out and give a platform to us fans so we can have a conversation. 3-Man Press also on YouTube. 3-Man Press is myself, Lindo Pep, and Football with Khalifan, where we speak about a lot of footballing things that happen as a 3-Man Press, as the name says. Guys, I'm going to be back at 2 a.m., 2:30 for Banyana. And then we're going to be back tomorrow with the normal show at 7 p.m., guys. Monday to Thursday, 7 p.m. Unless Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns, Banyana, Bafana. If those teams are playing, we will be live here watching them and breaking them down as we normally do. Guys, it's not just about reviews. There's also some really great conversations we have on the show that are all available on YouTube. So if you want to go check out what we've been speaking about before, head on over to YouTube. You'll be able to find everything, as well as my own content. This conversation about the defenders, I have a TikTok that's out right now, so please check that out. Support, share it, do all of those things, guys. Let's grow as far as possible and take this platform to the moon. It's been amazing. I'll see you guys then at 2:30 a.m. for Banyana versus Jamaica. Bye, everyone. Oh, join the WhatsApp group. Go to YouTube, click on subscribe, click on join. In the members area, there's a link that takes you to the WhatsApp group. That's where it gets hot. There's no 2-hour limits there. There's voice notes, videos, banter, learning. Incredible group of people. There's a ton of people. Ton of people there. It's a great place to be, guys. I'll see you then. 2:30 a.m.